Good afternoon, ladies. Karibu sana. This is our first edition of JIJALI. We are so excited. We are looking forward to having a fab time. You are welcome to join us. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Zoom. Zoom, it's where it's happening. We are active on Zoom. So you want to be on Zoom? Karibu, karibu, karibu. So this is an afternoon that we just want you to sit, put your legs up, and let's just be ladies, yeah? It's our afternoon, and we are not going to let it be anything short of that. This is a safe space. We are just going to talk about ourselves and just have fun. So without wasting much time, I'm going to introduce our two very lovely ladies who are going to take us through this process. We have Edith. Today she's Moana. You notice today I'm Papaya. My official names are Linda Maruti, but for today I am Papaya. We have, Moana. Moana will tell us more about herself. So Moana, please just tell us a bit about yourself as an introduction, and then we can proceed.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see all of you, and I'm very, very, very excited to be here today. My name is Edith Gisheha, although today I'm going by Moana is my and back to Linda.
Yes.
Yeah, back to you.
All right. Our next guest is Catherine. We can have Catherine introduce herself, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm really
glad.
I'm very, very glad to be here this afternoon, and I'm just looking forward to a fabulous time with all of you ladies. It is so nice that we can meet as ladies and just share about our lives and just share and have a good time together. So I'm really looking forward to a fabulous time. Over to you, Linda.
Thank you. So the rules of the game in the house is that today you can be anybody or anything you want to be, and that is why I am Papaya. So we will allow the participants on change their name. And then I'll tell you all the interesting names we have. So we can change our names, participants on Zoom. Is it my internet? Guys. I hope I'm not hanging. Am I hanging? Can you see me?
You are okay.
Yes, you're hanging.
We can hear you. We can see you.
Okay, I'm fine.
Yes, you're fine.
Okay. All right, so the names we have Papaya, we have Moana, we have Passion, we have Tigress, we have Pinocchio, we have Celery. Yeah, we've got some, everybody is just having a very good time here. We have got Pearl. Yeah, we've got all these interesting names, and it's because we want to create a safe space. So for instance, if Celery gives something, I'll address Celery. So you'll just hear what it is Celery is talking about, but you don't necessarily, yeah. So Karibu Sana. So over to you, Edith. Yeah. To take us through. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. And thank you for organizing this. It is actually an honor to participate in this. It has been an awesome Ladies Week, and we are going to crown it with JIJALI. So JIJALI is a Swahili word, meaning take care of yourself. So for the people who are here with us in the chat, would you kindly put in the chat what JIJALI means to you? What is JIJALI? in Kiswahili, it's a word in Kiswahili, and it means to take care of yourself. Yes. So I'm a nurse. I'm a perinatal nurse. I am a friend. I am a sister. I am an auntie. I wear very many hats. What's the other hat? Yes. So it's a great privilege to be here today. And I want to take us through a discussion on self-care. How do we take care of yourself? And I cannot see any comments in the chat. I'm waiting to hear. What is your definition of JIJALI? What is your definition of self-care? What is your definition of being well? I asked some of my girlfriends what that means to them, and I want to read some of the comments. Rachel said it means to be in a well state of mind, both physically, mentally, and socially, including with the people around you. And Jane said to be well to her is better. It means that there is absence of disease, means that she's totally whole. That is what it means. What does JIJALI mean to you? Tell us. Let me see, somebody else here said, for her, being well means to enjoy. Jackie said to enjoy physical and emotional well-being. When my mind is at and heart are at peace, then I say I am well. Ruth, all the way from Nigeria, for her, JIJALI, and it means being well, having a peace of mind, being at peace with God, that me and him are cool, and together we kick all the forms of worry and anxiety of the future to the curb. It also means peace in her body, nothing aching, nothing hurting. And it also means peace in my relationships with my family and girlfriends. Yes, so that is what some of the people I asked and what they told me about. Beryl also said for her, wellness is learning to really fight for the health of her soul by watching what I allow to come in terms of conversations, memories, dreams. When all these are in sync with the heart of God, then it is not hard for my spirit to be healthy. So that is what some ladies have said. Then we have my job here, JIJALI, concerning my welfare, before serving others, creating time for myself, passion. Then Papa says taking care of myself. Yes. So today we are going to talk about this wellness. I'm speaking to you as I speak to myself as well. So I want to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to confirm that. Okay. So I came up with some things that I thought would help us to take care of ourselves better so that we can be able to get this wellness or this completeness. And one of the things that came to my mind was guard your heart. And there's a scripture in Proverbs 4 verse 23 that says to keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. That is the New King James Version. Then I found that the Passion Translation, and it also says, so above all, guard the affections of your heart, for they affect all that you are. Pay attention. I like that word. Pay attention to the welfare of your innermost being, spring of life. So now, when I was thinking about this scripture and how I can explain what it means to guard your heart, I remembered one time, I'm a teacher, and one time I was teaching my students about the heart. And so today, I'm also going to teach you about the heart. And I hope it makes it clear what it means when it says, keep your heart with all diligence, because this is where all your life issues are going to come from. So this is what a normal heart would look like. Yes? And I want, please follow me. I'm going to be as simple as possible. Don't let the big words confuse you. Just listen to my voice. So how does your heart look like? So your heart looks like this picture that is before you. And you can see there are some parts that are blue and there are others that are red. Okay, so that means that your heart is actually a chamber that has a traffic going in and a traffic going out. And the traffic going in is, if you follow this red dot, so we have that blood coming in from the body. From this one will come in from the lower parts of the body, and this will come from the upper parts of the body, and it will enter the right side of the heart. And then it will flow to the lungs with those two arrows. It will flow to the lungs. And when it goes into the lungs, something happens to it and it changes. Red, it comes back to the heart, and then it goes to the rest of the body. So what is happening with this blood? Why is it blue and why is it red? And there is only one answer for this, and that is oxygen. If you don't have oxygen, you don't have life. There is no life. And so all the other parts of the body, because of the cell function, we end up having blood that has very low oxygen coming from the lower part of the body and upper part of the body. And they have to go to the heart so that they can go to the lungs, and so that what is making it not, the carbon dioxide can be removed and then oxygen can be added. And that is a magic that happens in the lungs, that we exchange what is toxic with what is good for us. And we breathe it in, and then our blood is going to come back when it has high levels of oxygen, and then our body is able to function. So when the speaker or the person who wrote the book of Proverbs, when they talk about guarding your heart with diligence, because the issues of life, this is where they come from. Literally, if your heart is not functioning, you will not have oxygen and you will not be able to function. Please forgive me, I have a medical background and many things I'm able to explain if I explain them this way. I hope this makes sense to you. So bad blood comes in, goes, we breathe in good oxygen, and then the blood is purified, and then it can be able to continue to function. So why is this? Hence the term wellspring of life. Because if you don't have oxygen, you have no life in your blood. You do not have any life in your blood. And the reason why we need oxygen is because of these three functions. The oxygen goes to the cell in your body, this part, it goes to your body, and it helps all the cells in your body to perform their normal functions. So if a cell is supposed to produce nice skin, it will produce that. So you're able to have nice glowing skin. It also helps to repair the ones that are damaged. So for example, if you have a pimple in your face, that's why it heals if you give it time, because your cells have oxygen and they're able to repair themselves. And they're also able to grow and develop. And this simply means we are increasing in number and in size. That's why we grow from being babies to adults, because our cells are constantly being able to have this function, because they have the wellspring of life, oxygen. Okay, great. What happens if something is wrong with your heart? If the blood, you notice we have a very clear distinction. So not mixing anywhere. This is from your heart. See, we have normal heart. So you can see here, there's an obstruction. Those are not good. What happens when this happens? So the blood does it finds it, then it's like, hey, okay, so where should I go? So it goes to where there's an opening, and you can see here, this blood that has been purified will no longer be pure because it is going to be mixed with this other blood which does not have oxygen. And so what is going into the cell is not blood that is highly oxygenated. And so we end up with problems. So when you don't have oxygen, you're not going to function the way you're supposed to. You're going to have cells that are damaged and they're not going to be healed because there's no energy to heal them. And you're not going to grow because there's no oxygen to do that. Okay, so when this person who wrote Proverbs, this could be Solomon, when they wrote this and they say, guard your heart with all diligence, because if you do not, this is going to be the result. You will not be able to function normally. You'll be aching all over. You'll have poor relationships and all those bad things that come with it. The issues that happen and maybe you're wounded, you will not be able to heal at all because you don't have the energy to do that. And you definitely cannot be able to grow and develop when even your normal functioning is not good. So when he says guard your heart, it means be very careful about what goes in and also the structure. How is it? What does it look like? What if we opened your heart today, what are we going to find? Are we going to find normal, the way God created it, or are we going to find obstructions and holes? The beauty with this heart is it can heal itself. Some operations can be done and it can be healed, and then you'll be okay. So then, that's how I would explain that verse. So when we say we are taking care of ourselves, the first thing we need to do is to guard our hearts and to allow God that all those bad things that have come into our hearts, we take them to Him, this in case being our lungs, and then He's going to purify all those issues and give us something that is clean, which we can be able to use. And when He gives us something that is clean, we need to make sure that our heart is in a good condition so that we have the pure blood that He's giving us, and what the world is giving us, or the experiences we are having, or the issues we have, or like the crisis we have today, is not affecting and destroying the structure of our heart. We need to guard our heart. So for me, I feel guarding your heart is very, very important, And one of the best ways of guarding your heart, this is what my thinking is, with love. Love is the only way you can guard your heart. Patience, kindness to yourself and to others. So you can even say, Edith is patient with Edith. Excuse me. Edith is kind. Are you kind to yourself? Are you kind to yourself? And the kindness is going to maintain the structure of your heart. What about envy? How do you feel about other people's progress? Are you boastful and proud? Are we dishonoring others and seeking only what concerns us? Yes, I like this part especially. It is not easily angered. So this statement means that I do get angry. I do get angry, but not easily. And when I do, I don't dwell there. You move on. Okay, so, and then it doesn't keep a record of wrongs. This has to do with forgiveness and resentment. We don't keep a record of wrongs. And we do not delight in what is evil, but we rejoice with the truth. We protect, we trust, we hope, we preserve, and love never fails. And I believe this is the way we can maintain the structure and proper functioning of our heart, so that we give God we have the negatives coming into our lives, but then they don't control us. We take them to God, He cleans them, and then He gives it back to us, and we're able to continue functioning. So one of the things I felt that we need to do as tukijijali is to guard our heart. I don't know what you think about this. I don't know what you think about this. I'm trying to see if there's a comment. Oh, good. Anna Wori says, I love this analogy, Edith. Thank you. It makes sense to you too, I know. And then guard your heart with love. Exactly. Thank you, Paul. Guard your heart with love. Yes? And you'll notice the blue blood will always be there. And so we cannot have always red blood. We should, even blue blood is important. That way the heart will function. And so when bad things happen to us, we should not worry. We should know that that is how God made us. Actually, God made us to be resilient and to function in chaos. Actually, to become productive in chaos. So when the blue is there, then we know where to take it. So please put your comments down there. Tell us what you think about this first key of JIJALI, of taking care of yourself. Good, let's go to the next one. I have about 5 and I'm not going to take time. I'll try and be as fast as possible. Then we have this scripture that I found. It's called Proverbs 13 verse 17. It says, an undependable messenger causes a lot of trouble, but the trustworthy and wise messengers release healing wherever they go. So I want to present to you some chemical messengers which will help you deal with issues in your life. As women, we need to maximize the hormones that God has given us. And hormones are simply chemical messengers. And these are trustworthy and wise messengers which will release healing wherever we are, whether we're in a good place or in a bad place. We can maximize these chemical messengers, and then we are going to be having a productive life. The first one is called serotonin. You can read about it, but I just want to help you understand what it means to maximize your hormones. So we have this hormone called serotonin. It's a mood stabilizer. It helps you to switch your mood just like that. So as women, I know many times tunaambiangwa tuko na moods. But we can have this hormone which can help. And we'll see what are some of the ways we can release serotonin. We also have another one called dopamine. This is a reward chemical. This is a very good one, especially released when you do pleasurable situations. Those things that when you plan something and you achieve it and you feel nice and dopamine is released. And then you continue even to feeling even better. Then we have endorphins. These ones, they kill your pain. So we know that pain will be there, and pain is actually good. And we have these endorphins to help you kill the pain. And then we have a beautiful love hormone. It's called oxytocin. And it is released during sex. It's also released during childbirth and during breastfeeding. It is also released. So for the moms who are breastfeeding, you have a lot of oxytocin. And that is why moms always have so much love to give, because they have very high levels of oxytocin. So how can we do this? For dopamine, we can do simple tasks. Set yourself a task. For example, make your bed. Wake up and say, I'm going to make my bed today. And you feel very good because you have completed that task. Taking care of yourself, going to the salon, doing your nails. See, that's why we feel nice. We feel nice because of dopamine. Eating food, good food, and you feel really nice, and celebrating little wins. All that is as a result of dopamine. So every time you're feeling down, do something that will help you to release dopamine, and then you're going to feel good. For the mood stabilizer, simple walking in the park, taking a walk and coming back home. I know we are very stressed, we're locked up in the house, we can't even do many activities, but when we take a walk, you feel much better. Do an activity like swimming or cycling or running or meditating on the word of God. Those will help you to stabilize your mood. For painkillers, laughter. And I think we all like this one. We all like laughing. And dark chocolate. All women like chocolate. If you like chocolate, please put it in the chat. Hallelujah. I know I like chocolate.
Hallelujah.
Yes. Chocolate is really good and exciting. And then we have oxytocin. And this one is love. Anything that has love. And you know, I always used to wonder, why would you get a dog? What for? Yes? But you see, when you play with a dog and you hug the dog and you throw a ball and it catches, you feel nice. And oxytocin is released and you feel better. Hugging someone, hugging a baby, holding hands. I know we are doing social distancing, but at least for your family, you can hug them. Giving someone a compliment, I like that one. You can do that. Yes, so these are some chemical messengers who can help you to release healing wherever you are. And even in these difficult times, you can work on this. I like, let me see if there's anything in the comments. The healthy heart heals. Okay, I love chocolate too, good. At least that chocolate is also good for the skin. That's amazing. Yes, thank you for that. So let us maximize our hormones. Our chemical messengers, they are trustworthy and wise. So every time you're feeling down, do a task and then you'll feel better. That's why some people, when they clean, they feel better. Why? Because the hormone has been released. So always know that you have control over how you feel and who you are. And you can be able to do these things to be able to feel a lot better as a woman, even in our relationships. I like this particular one. This one is personal. The third tip is dying. I like this one because when you sit down with someone, I'm single and I go on dates. So they're usually very nice. When you sit down and you dine with someone, because when you sit down and you dine with someone, you get to know them and they get to know you. So you literally open yourself to them and they open themselves to you. And that is amazing. Having a connection with another human being is actually something that we were created for. And so another tip of taking care of yourself is dining. But who do you dine with? The first person is with the Lord. Literally, he has invited us. He says, I'm standing at the door and I'm knocking. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and dine with him and he with me. This is my favorite part. And he with me. Meaning, he will not just be telling me what to do or lord over me. He also wants to be part of my life and what I'm doing and what I like and what I'm interested in. So we have this conversation with the Lord. And I love these conversations when you dine with the Lord. When you sit down to dine with him, you learn a lot, you get built. If you're feeling down, you feel so much better. Like the worship yesterday was so amazing. That's part of dining. It refreshes you and makes you whole. You need to dine with people that you trust. And there I've put a picture of some people in my life who I trust. And these girls, they know me well. My good parts and my bad parts. Yes, and I trust them because I can walk up to them and tell them the worst, stupidest things I've ever done in my life. And they won't judge me. Even if they judge me, because they have chosen to be my friends. So they will deal with me the way I am. But you need to dine with people who you trust. And these are the people who will help you again to clean your heart because you will confess your sins to them and they won't judge you and they will love you and they will help you restructure your heart back. So you need to get, or rather pray for the Lord to bring these people into your life. I think they are gifts because you can't even explain when you started being friends with these people. Please put in the chat if you have friends like this, friends who you're close with, who stand with you. And even if you don't see each other over a long period of time, you know for sure these people are with me. Dine with people who are under your care. This is one of my favorite persons. He's my nephew and he's under my care. So I need to dine with him so that I can understand what are his needs so that I can be able to help him better. And this makes me take care of myself better because I want to be an example to him and show him that life can be like this. And I can't say just words. He will observe my life and see that it is. And thank you. Thank you for your comments. I will answer your questions, Passion and Pearl, as we go on. Okay. The second last key point I'd like to talk about is be here. Be here right now, present. I know today you have YouTube, you have Facebook, you're on your phone, you're talking with people, like 10 people at the same time. Yeah. Be present, be here today so that you can experience. You only have one moment in time. And I think we should make the best of every moment that you have. If you're here listening to us today talking about JIJALI, be present, be here. Even God is our very present help in time of trouble. So yourself also, be here, be present, be available, be here totally. Instead of stretching yourself too thin. Sometimes we stretch ourselves too thin and we are not useful to anyone. And even to ourselves. So be present, be here, focus, and that way even God will walk through you better because you're here and you're hearing the things that he's telling you about. I like that chapter 3 of Ecclesiastes that says, to everything there's a season. So be present in every season of your life. And surely you will have seasons. Like now, the season we are in, we are resetting. God is resetting everything. Let's be present and let us allow ourselves to be reset. Let's stop fighting him. Let's follow the season and let us learn from every season. And then we'll be much better. when you finish one season and you move to the next, when you have completed the things you need to learn about that season, you'll be much better. That's what I think. Because if you'll notice, the things that keep recurring in your life could be things that you're not taking time to learn from, or maybe there's something God is trying to tell you and we can't hear. So we need to be present for every season. When it's time to be happy, let's all be happy. Now we are hibernating. We are by ourselves. We are discovering who we are, how to have church away from each other. Let us learn from this season so we can move on from it and God can be able to build on the things that we have learned. If you look at your life today, it's because you went through one season and you went on to another and to another like that. So be present for every season. I've tried to inculcate this, and I learned this habit from my friend Rachel. Rachel, when she's with you. And she will listen, she will not look at her phone, unless maybe it's her child who's calling, then she's going to not be present. But otherwise, she will be present with you fully 100%. And there's nothing as good as being present for somebody else. It's very, very fulfilling. So as women, as we take care of ourselves, let us be present. Be present. And that way, you're not going to be thinking of, whoa, I've not done my master's, I've not done PhD, I'm not married. For those of us who are single, for this time and season, let me be present here and now and maximize what is here. I'm actually a believer in short-term goals. The ones that I can see now, monthly goals are good for me. Although I do have a big picture, but I like monthly goals because those are things I can say, by the end of this week, I need to do this. Be present here and now. And finally, this is a mantra that has really helped me to take care of myself. Go beyond consuming. Many times we take in, you just take in. You go for sermons, you listen. You go for worship sessions, you worship, at least that one you're giving back to God. But many times we take in, you never give back. Go beyond consuming. Do something else other than consuming. When the teachers of the law asked Jesus, what is the biggest or the greatest commandment? He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your soul. And then he said the second, like it, is you should love your neighbor as you love yourself. So first you love yourself, then you love your neighbor. It's so fulfilling to do something for somebody else. Do something for somebody else. Even no matter how small, do something for someone else, and you will find that all that baggage probably we have even now. Even now, there's so many people who are struggling, they don't have jobs, and maybe you have 100 shillings extra. Share with them. Cook some food for 3 people, and you are single. And then you share with your neighbor. Yes, that I found to be very, for me, has helped me to grow and to even be very fulfilled, very, very fulfilled when I go beyond myself, go beyond consuming. I wonder which ways do you ever go beyond consuming? I wonder. So, yes. So those are the 5 things I wanted to share with regards to taking care of yourself as a person. And I want to read a comment made by Pearl. Can one have an excess of either of these hormones? For instance, you want to complete as many tasks as possible. So what happens is your body is able to adjust. So the minute you complete one task, a dopamine shot is released. The chemical messenger is released. And then if you do another 2 tasks, even more dopamine is released. And so you feel so much better. That's why successful people are always happy and they always get more. You remember that principle that Jesus said that when he gave talents, and then for the one who hid, he took that one and gave it to the one who had 10. So the more you have, the more you will be given. And so the same thing with these chemical messengers, the hormones. These ones that make you feel good, the more you produce them, the better you feel. And you'll always be at a high, and you'll always be feeling much, much better. Yes, so those are my thoughts. I don't know what you think about them. I hope they make sense to you. I'm sorry I went all geeky on you. I guess that's how I process things. Yes, and back to you, Linda. Thank you. Linda, are you there?
Here.
Yes, back to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Edith. That was so refreshing. Maybe we can you put on the chat, what's your favorite takeaway? Mine has been be present, be in the present. These things of planning and just having a plan that is overboard. Yeah, I think that's a lesson for me that I can actually do with 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, a quarter, instead of having a 5-year plan, which we realize, especially now Corona has taught us that you don't need a 5-year plan. You need to learn to plan bit by bit, because all the 5-year plans that had been set, they're obsolete now. So yeah, for me, that's key for me. That's really, I really like that. I don't know, can we see in the chat, what have people carried away? What's your favorite one? What's your favorite takeaway? Just quickly put it on the chat. Edith, I don't know whether you were going to be able to do the poll.
No, we can continue, it's okay.
All right. Yeah, let's see. I can see Agnes Shikalo, be present. Yeah, I'm not alone on being present. Tigress, be present. Someone else? Let's see more of what people are willing to or want to adopt as their own.
Pinocchio said about the greatest takeaway is knowing that I can control hormones. That's nice. Yes, you can.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. Yeah. Any more? Eat chocolate.
Yeah. Yes, there's someone who has said, yeah, they would like a mentor on the same. Yes, having people to look up to. That's good. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, the condition of your heart needs to be max optimum. From pressures, excellent. Passion, dine with people, you must maximize your hormones. Oh, I like that, hormones, ladies and hormones, that's us. Any other? Okay. Sophia, controlling my hormones and be present. Excellent. So she'll control her hormones and be present. How you do that? I don't know, but yeah, she'll do that. And then there's, I like the excitement and enthusiasm in the meeting. Yes. We must always look for opportunities to be excited and enthusiastic. That's what life is about. God has fashioned us to function. Even in crisis, blue blood is important too. Now I know I have blue blood. Yeah. Science told me I have red, but Edith has told me I have blue also. Excellent. Yeah, so keep the comments coming. Excellent. We can maybe now move to our next speaker in the interest of time as we, keep the comments coming. The comments are important, just keep them coming. So Catherine, we are ready for you. You can take the stage and just take it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good afternoon once again. Moana, Edith, that was an awesome presentation. I've really learned a lot from you. And like I said, my name is Catherine Mureithi. I'm a counseling psychologist. I love people. I love working with people. And I enjoy seeing people's lives turn around through changing the way they think, the way they act, the way they behave. So counseling is my passion. I love women, and I believe that women do a lot in the society. And so it's important that as women, we also learn how to just take care of ourselves. So I will not be sharing my screen. I have 3 things that I will talk about this afternoon. And the other speaker, Edith, talked about them. She talked about what self-care is. And so I will not belabor so much, but I have 3 things to talk about: what self-care is, what self-care is not, and then I'll talk about how to live a balanced life, and I will give a few tips on how to live a balanced life, which is all about self-care. So when we talk about self-care, we are saying that it is any activity that we do deliberately. It has to be deliberate in order to take care of our mental, emotional, and physical health. So whatever activity, when you're doing self-care, whatever activity that you do, it has to be deliberate, it has to be intentional, and it is supposed to take care of your mental health, it is supposed to take care of your emotional health and your physical health. Can also say that it's a broad term that encompasses just about anything you do to be good to yourself. Anything that you do to be good to yourself, anything that you do to be kind, compassionate, empathic to yourself. So it's partly about knowing what are your resources. What resources do you have? And are they running low? Because if your resources are running low, then you're not taking care of yourself. So it's about learning whether your resources are running on low. And if they are running on low, then you need to sit back, step back, and replenish them rather than allow them to drain you. So that is what, in a nutshell, we can say what we can say self-care is. So it has got to be deliberate, it's got to be intentional, it works on your emotional, physical, psychological health, and it's about understanding that, are you running on low? You know, think about a car that has no fuel. If you see your gauge going to E, you know that you need to refuel your car. So in the same way as a woman, if you feel that your resources are running low, your energies are running low, you're not able to give to your family, say, love and compassion, then you need to step back and allow yourself to replenish. So let me ask a question. What is not self-care? That's our next thing to tackle. What is not self-care? And probably people can write, but I think, yeah. What is not self-care? All right, let me respond. I know we are going to write on the chat, but knowing what self-care is not might be even more important. It's very important to know what self-care is not, because sometimes we may think that what we are doing is self-care, yet it is not. And as we think about self-care, it has got to be positive. If it's negative, then it's not self-care. And some of the things that people do thinking that it's self-care because it's bringing pleasure may not be self-care. So every time we think about self-care, let's remember that it refuels us. It refuels us. It doesn't take from us. It's not supposed to take away from us. Anything that takes away from you, anything that drains you, yeah, then that is not self-care. When you're thinking about self-care and the things that you love to do, know that self-care is not selfish. There's sometimes a woman will say, I enjoy just going to the spa. Let me talk about that. And it may look like selfish, yeah? But whatever it is that makes you happy, it is not selfish. If it's what you're going to do that's making you happy and replenishing you so that you're able to take care of yourself and take care of others, then no, it is not selfish. So when you're thinking about what it is not, it's not just about considering our needs. It's not just about knowing what we need to do in order to take care of ourselves, but it's about knowing, am I taking care of myself? Am I fully taking care of myself? And if you're not taking care of yourself, then you'll not be in a position to take care of the people who you love. And like Edith has said, the first person to love is you. You know, she talked about love is patient. So are you patient with yourself? So the first person to love is yourself, and you can only be able to give to others if you love yourself. So I would like us to look at 10 tips on personal mental wellness. 10 tips on personal mental wellness, or 10 tips on self-care. Let me call them 10 tips on self-care. How can you take care of yourself? Many times we never sit back to ask ourselves how we are and how we are feeling. You may be sad because of something that happened in the course of the day, probably you're not relating well with the people who you live with. It could be your spouse, your children, or the people who you work with. And so at the end of the day, you go home and you feel very sad. But most times what we do is that we put our feelings and put them under the carpet. We never sit back to ask ourselves, how am I feeling? Where did this feeling emanate from? We never grew up talking about our feelings, and most times we're told what you feel does not matter. But how you feel matters, because how you feel helps you deal with yourself. It helps you know, this is what has caused the sadness. How can I deal with this sadness? Is it the loss of a job? So if you've lost a job, then you know, I'm sad because I lost my job. And I'm not going to take out my anger on the people I love around me. So self-care is just being able to understand, how are you feeling on a daily basis? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling depressed? Are you feeling angry? Yeah. And why are you feeling the way you are feeling? So at the end of the day, take time to ask yourself how you're feeling and why you are feeling that way. If you're feeling happy, what is your reason for feeling happy? Why are you excited? Why are you joyous? Yeah. Remember the things that I want to, to refer to, endorphins and oxytocin. Are those things in place? If they are in place, then you'll be aware of them and you will want to do that over and over again. Another way of self-care is ensuring that you have a good support system around you. We are faced with very many troubles on a day-to-day basis. We are faced with, especially right now when we're going through COVID, we are faced with the fact that we are isolated. We are not with the people who we would love to be with. And so what that does is that it may make us feel very unhappy. It may feel us, and remember, we are all social beings, and as social beings, we want to go out there and meet people and meet our friends. It's important to have a good social support system. It's important to have good friends. Good friends act as a sounding board. So when you have good friends, you can talk to them about anything and everything. They're the people who know you in and out. They're those people who you can call at the touch of a button and they can come in any time, day or night. So have good friends, because when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling unhappy, then you can be able to call your friends. You can go out and you can have coffee And you can eat cake, you can eat chocolate, you can dine with them, because good friends act as sounding boards, and your friends need to challenge you. They need to challenge you. If you're not doing the right thing, they need to speak to you and tell you, no, 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 what you're doing is not right. So ask yourself, do I have a good support system? Do I have good friends around me? Then the other thing is you need to pursue a balanced life. What do I mean? You need to be emotionally, physically, professionally, socially, and spiritually balanced. All those are important. Just think about a wheel. Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 100, it would be important to ask yourself spiritually, between 1 and 100, am I at 50? Am I at 80? Or am I at 20? Emotionally, are you at 80 or are you at 20? So when you think about when you think about how whether your life is balanced, you're asking yourself, socially, where am I at? On a scale of 1 to 100, where am I at? Professionally, on a scale of 1 to 100, where am I at? If you do the scale and you see that your wheel has 20 here, another place 80, another 50, another 10, ask yourself, if that was a car that was running and the wheel of that car was running, how would that car run? It would be very hard for that car to move. And it's the same thing with your life. It's important to lead a balanced life such that you're looking at emotionally, how am I feeling? Am I aware of my emotions? Am I aware of my feelings? Am I sad? Yeah, how do I make other people feel? Physically, how are you? Physically, are you exercising? How is your physical health? Do you have too much weight or too little weight? Yeah, your physical health is important. Are you the sort of people who say, me, I am small and I come from a small frame, so as we do not need to exercise and I can eat anything. Then later when you go for checkups, you find that either your cholesterol is too high because of not exercising. So ask yourself, am I exercising? Your physical health is important. Professionally, are you growing professionally? Did you do a diploma 20 years ago and you've never gone back, to improve yourself? So professionally, ask yourself, am I improving myself? Yeah. And professionally, you don't have to go to master's to PhD. You need to look at what is your area of expertise and are you growing it? It could be, by reading. How are you growing professionally? Socially, how do you socialize with the people around you? And we socialize with our family members, with our friends in church. How are you socializing? Or do you stay by yourself and you do not go out there to meet other people? So ask yourself, how is my social life? It needs to be balanced. Then spiritually, it's important to ask yourself, spiritually, how am I? What is my relationship with Christ? Do I have a relationship with Christ? How are we relating? Or do I say I have a relationship with Christ, but it ends there? You never take time to worship, to praise, to read your Bible. So spiritually, we need to ask ourselves, are we leading a balanced life? So that way, then that is part of self-care. Another thing that we need to do is to learn to say no to what you do not want. Are there things that you do not want to do, but you keep saying yes? So no, when you say no, no is a complete answer. So ask yourself, what causes me to keep saying yes to things that I'm not happy about? That you find yourself in places that you do not want to be at. You find yourself doing things that you do not want to do. And many times people do that because they want to please other people. So if you're doing things to please other people because you're afraid of either losing friends, you're afraid of being set aside in the in society, You need to ask yourself, what is it within me that is making me say yes, yet I know there are things I shouldn't be doing. So learn to say no. There is absolutely nothing wrong with saying no. And what that does is that when you learn how to say no, then people begin to respect you and you begin to respect yourself. Remember, if part of taking care of ourselves is knowing, am I doing the right thing or not? Am I at the right place or not? And if you constantly find yourself having a lot of conflicts when you do something and you're telling yourself, I shouldn't have done that, but you find yourself doing things that you don't like, then you're not taking care of yourself. And what happens? It affects your heart. It affects your heart. It affects who you are. Another thing is to establish boundaries with toxic people. Establish boundaries with toxic people. Are there people in your life who are toxic? Do you have friends who you feel, this one I need to drop them? This one, they should not even be on my phone list. So many times we have friends who we know they're not good for us, but we still continue walking around with people who we know are not good for us. So ask yourself, when you look at your circle of friends, are they toxic or not? Yeah. And if they are toxic, I think it's important to let them go. People who are around you, people who hang around you, ask yourself, do they make me feel happy? Do they make me feel good? Yeah. Do we have a conversation and they make me doubt myself, doubt who I am? Do I talk with people and at the end of the day, I have I'm always asking myself, who am I? I'm comparing myself with other people. Do you have people who keep putting you down by their words? So if you have people who are toxic around you, it's important, it's a high time you say no to them. So establish boundaries with toxic people. Go to your phone book. At times you have your phone book, your phone has filled up because of so many numbers that you do not call, and some people you do not even have a relationship with them. So get rid of toxic people. Remember, self-care is being very deliberate. It's very intentional in the things that you need to do, the things that refuel you, replenish you, the things that re-energize you, and you're able to work with other people. And you're able to be happy with yourself, and you're able to give to other people. Another thing that we need to do to take care of ourselves is to make no apologies for who you are and what you believe in. So make no apologies for who you are and what you believe in. Live a life that is consistent with your values. So what are your values? What do you value? What are those values that when people see you can say, that person, this woman is a woman of integrity. This woman keeps her word. This woman is honest. This woman does her work with excellence. What are your values? So live a life that is consistent with what you believe in, what you love, and ask yourself, what are my core values? And are you living those core values on a daily basis? Remember, I said at the end of the day, ask yourself, how am I feeling? At the end of the day, also ask yourself, what are my core values? And did I live my core values today? And if I did not, what caused me not to do that? Yeah. So keep examining yourself, keep examining your life. How am I living on a day-to-day basis? And you will find that you'll be taking care of yourself over and over again. Another way of self-care is to keep reading. Keep reading. What areas do you enjoy? So read regularly on an area of interest. So What is your areas of interest? I must say my area of interest is psychology. So I read things that are psychological all the time. If I go to the newspaper, I'm looking for what areas will interest me as far as my work is concerned. So keep reading in your area of interest, and then keep adding helpful knowledge and habits into your mind all the time. Yeah. What thoughts do you have? So you need to keep adding helpful, constant, helpful thoughts to your brain all the time. So read regularly, yeah, and keep ensuring that you are introducing helpful thoughts into your brain regularly. Another thing that we can do for self-care is to find out what are our hobbies. Do you know what our hobbies are? I remember as we were growing up, hobbies were I like reading, I like listening to music. So all those things are nice. So establish and maintain hobbies. And there's nothing wrong with getting new hobbies. Ask yourself, do I know what my hobbies are? When I get at the end of the week, what is the one thing that I want to do? Yeah. So if it's traveling, I know this has been a difficult time, but are you deciding, let's leave and just take a drive or just walk? Yeah. What are those things that are your hobbies and that you enjoy doing? Hobbies can be established and maintained at whatever age. Actually, they can be established at whatever age. So it's important to look at ourselves and say, what are those things that you always wanted to do as you were growing up? Sometimes there are things that you keep saying, as I was growing up, I really wanted to learn how to play the piano, how to sing, or to do, dance. What are those things? Go back to that inner child. Everybody has an inner child. Go to that girly girl you were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years, 50 years, depending on how old you are, and ask yourself, what are those things that I really, really wanted to do and I'd want to do now? So you can establish, um, you can establish new hobbies at whatever age. One of the things that I always, always wanted to do was I really used to admire people who would play the piano. But I was never, and I mean, I think I used to see the piano just in church, yeah. And so I used to find it so fascinating, very fascinating. And so it's part of my to-do list. I have not gone to do it, but it's part of my to-do list. It's on my bucket list, and I will learn how to play the piano. So last but not least, like I said, I'm a counseling psychologist. And many times we may be having issues that are bothering us and we do not know who to talk to. Sometimes we know we have these burdens that we have carried, probably either from childhood, you carried certain burdens and you've never talked about them, but they have disturbed you. It could have been that you grew up in a family that was not functional, it was dysfunctional. You grew up with a father who was a drunkard. You grew up probably with a mother who was a drunkard. You probably saw your parents fight. It is so important. Whatever issues, whether there were issues in your early childhood that you've never dealt with, you were probably neglected. Is it an issue that is current? Is it issues that a few years ago, but deep down you've never dealt with? I know and I totally believe there is nothing wrong with prayer. Prayer is awesome. However, if there are things that you have never dealt with, I would encourage you to see a counselor. Actually, seeing a counselor as often as possible is good. You see, the way we pray, the way we come to church, and when we come to church, we're so excited, jumping up and down, dancing for the Lord, and we leave there feeling so refreshed. It's the same thing when you go to see a counselor. And a counselor will be able to help you see different things that you hadn't thought about, different perspectives, And so see a counselor as often as possible. The unexamined life is not worth living. If your life has not been examined, then it is not worth living. Seeing a counselor is part of self-care. I keep saying that a few years back, or sometimes we say doing my nails, doing a manicure, pedicure, doing a body massage, that is self-care. Well, that is true. It is part of self-care. But if your mental health is not well, then even if you do a manicure, a pedicure, then things remain as they are, because there is no health without mental health. So your mental health is so important, and your mental health helps you take care of yourself. It gives you a reason for self-care. So I want to end by a scripture that I love. Just give me a minute. So the scripture that I want to share on self-care comes from Genesis chapter 2, from verse 2 to 3. And it says, and on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which he had created and made. So we see that after God created everything, he rested. He rested, and on that day, he just sat back. We don't know exactly what he did, but we are told that he rested. And so resting is part of self-care, and we see God, who is the creator of heaven and earth, creator of the universe, resting. And so we need, and taking care of himself after all the work he had done for those 6 days. How much more us? What are we? And yet God was God. You know, God is God. He's sovereign. How much us are we supposed to do? You know, to sit back and say, I need to take care of myself by resting. So I would encourage each and every one of us to ask ourselves, how am I taking care of myself? What self-care habits have I introduced into my life on a daily basis? As I conclude, I had said that sometimes some things that we like may look like they are good for self-care. So things like taking drugs, taking alcohol, they may look for some people like they are relaxing, because for some people, when they drink, when they take alcohol, when they do drugs, they may feel like they're relaxing. However, every time you're taking care of yourself, when you talk about self-care, it is positive habits that do not take away from you, or that do not take away from you. Most times when people take alcohol, it takes away from them. Yeah. When you do drugs and substance abuse, it takes away from you. So ask yourself, are the habits that you have engaged, are they positive? Are they positive? And are they replenishing you, or are they taking away from you? Thank you very much. And over to you, Papaya. Over to you, Papaya. I think I needed to go to the charts. I think I didn't go to the charts.
Yeah, feel free to.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can go to the charts. That's fine.
Yeah.
You can go to the charts.
Okay. I think I can see taking care of self is intentional and a choice.
In the meeting now, so don't pass.
Sorry? So self-care is not living in guilt. It refuels us. It does not drain us. Yeah. Thanks for your comments. I can see that you are following. Self-care refuels us. Self-care must not harbor grudges or unforgiveness in the heart. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Very true. Ask yourself every day. At the end of the day, ask yourself, take your journal and ask yourself, how am I feeling? How you feel matters. Never be told by anybody that feelings do not matter. Feelings matter. Okay, there's a question from YouTube. How do you give yourself self-care when you are taking care of others who depend on you? That is, when attending to a sick person and you can't leave them alone. Kindly address. So, Papaya, can I address a question?
Yes,
Okay.
you can.
Yes. So, thank you so much from YouTube. How do you take care of yourself when you're taking care of others? Now, if you have ever flown, when you go to the plane, when you're being given instructions about should there be an emergency that happens in that plane, you're always told to take is it the tube, Papaya? You're told to take it and wear it and put the mask before you can mask your child. So you have to be well masked before you mask your child if you have a child. You cannot be able to take care of that child should there be an emergency in the flight if you have not first taken care of yourself. And so I know taking care of others in a family setup, if you have a sick person, can be very, very draining. And I just want to commend this person. If you're the one who's doing that, well done. I know it can be very draining. However, it's always good to ask yourself, are there people who can also help me take care of this person who is sick? Let's assume it's a mother who is sick and you have siblings. And sometimes probably this parent will go to stay with either an older child or a middle child, depending on who's available at that moment. I keep telling people, look for help. Ask people, ask those ones who are around you if they can help you. You may be so engrossed in taking care of this person that you have no energy and you become resentful, you become angry, you become bitter, yet you really want to take care of this person because you have not replenished yourself, you have not re-energized yourself. So my question is, my advice would be, find out. I mean, this would need a one-on-one, but find out and look within yourself and ask, do I have brothers and sisters who can also come in to help me? Even if I am the primary caregiver, can I have somebody who can come in at least once or twice a week to also help me so that you're not getting overly drained? Yeah, so even in those moments when you're taking care of that person, it's important to ask yourself at the end of the day, after taking care of this person the whole day, how am I feeling? Yeah, I'm feeling drained, I'm feeling tired. Then address that feeling, address it, because if you do not address it, you will not be able to help them. You will not be able to. So address it and then see, how else can I get support? Who else can give me support in this area? Okay. I don't know, Edith, would you like to respond to that as well?
Well, yeah, I think you've said everything I would have said, but it's very, very draining taking care of somebody else. And I would encourage you to really take some time off and lean on your own support system. Once in a while, intentionally make time to go and find replenishment yourself. Otherwise, you will burn out. And hopefully you have a good support system and they can even be able to support you, because it can be very draining to take care of a sick person. Yes. There was another question, Catherine.
Yes.
This one was about somebody asked, how do you manage? How do you manage to be a mother, a wife, an employee? You're having people looking up to you. How do you handle with all this and take care of yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. That's a wonderful question. And you're a mother, you're a wife. You're taking care of yourself. You're also taking care of your business or your job. How do you handle this? And how you handle this, one, is to first and foremost appreciate that you have all these hats that you're wearing. You know, you're wearing the hat of a mother, you're wearing the hat of a wife, and all these hats are not easy to take care of on a daily basis. However, it's about knowing your limits. It's about knowing your limits. As a mother, what am I expected to do on a day-to-day basis? From morning to evening, what are my roles? What are my roles as a wife? What are my roles in the office? And I must commend women and say women do so much. I think God has just given women grace and strength, you know, to be able to take care of so many children, wake up very early and, prepare breakfast, ensure that all the children's break and lunch is prepared, prepare her husband, prepare herself, go back to work. And I can only say that this is God, who gives us that strength. However, find out your limits, yeah? Look for time on a daily basis to just try and unwind. Yeah, look for time to say, what is it that I can do and what is it that I cannot do? At times, women want to do everything every day. From morning to evening, you want to do everything. You want to wash the house, you want to cook dinner, you want to wash clothes, you want to unhang them, you want to iron. Ask yourself, what can I do today? Yeah. Some things can be let to go. The house will not burn because today clothes have not been ironed. Yeah. What is it that you can do on a daily basis, and do those things? Do not give excuses for dishes being at the sink. I'm not advocating for a dirty house or dirty dishes, but I have washed dishes for so many years as a mother, a wife, and even as I was growing up. And you do them every day. So don't burn yourself by saying, I have to do this every day. Do what you can do. Say today I will wash the clothes and I will not unhang them. I will not fold them. Yeah. Tomorrow I will do something else. When you go to work, what are your duties? Do what you can in that day. So prioritizing is also very important, so that wherever you're working, you come up with a priority list. What are my core responsibilities? What's my job description? And then write down what is important for you to do on that day, based on priority to the least important. Sometimes where we are not even able to where we get overly tired, especially these days, is because we also spend so much time on our phones. You're on your phone just scrolling down on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Instagram. You're everywhere. So you find yourself, if you look at how much time you spend on social media, you could be spending up to 4 hours. Yeah. So again, look at, what am I doing with my time on a day-to-day basis? Yeah, and always create time for how you're feeling and time to rest, time to say, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm putting my legs up with a cup of tea and I'm just going to sit here. Yeah. Yes. And again, also look for help.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Catherine. There's something you say that struck me what are the dreams you had when you were a girl? I wonder, for the people who are attending, what dreams did you have when you were a girl that you remember and you would like to bring up for yourself? I think that would be a very good way to start having that, taking stock of who you are and who you are without doing apologies. Yeah. Yes, I think that is very good. Thanks, Catherine.
Okay, you're welcome.
Great.
There's a question.
Is a question?
There's a question.
I can't see any other question, but there's a question here. How about eating comfort food? Oh, that one I can make a comment.
Okay.
So you remember the hormone serotonin, the one that is a mood stabilizer? So much of that hormone has, what's the right word to use, or gets, many of its gates will be found in your gut. And that is why we have comfort food, because when you eat the food, you feel better. Okay, so, but we need to be careful about food, because food will make you gain weight, and it will also predispose you to lifestyle diseases. So if you find that you get comfort in eating the food, it's just the mood stabilizer that is released when you eat the food. So you need to find out, first of all, why do you need comfort, and deal with that issue. Otherwise, you'll just keep eating and eating and eating, and you're not solving the problem. And I think that is something that those of us who have this, because even me, I have this thing of comfort food. But once you understand it, then you know, why am I craving for chicken? And I'm full. I'm not hungry, but I'm craving for it. So you need to find out, why do I need comfort? Face that issue and come up with a plan on how to deal with it. Yes. I don't know if there's any other question. Is there any other question?
Yes, Edith.
Yes, go ahead.
Question on, does sleeping release any chemicals? Probably you can respond to that.
Oh, does sleeping release? So first of all, oxytocin releases hormones, makes you sleep. There are also prolactin for breastfeeding, also releases sleeping hormones. Dopamine makes you think. So yes, when you do sleep, the thing that is released during sleep is chemicals that help to repair all the cells that have been damaged during the day. And that is why we normally recommend that you should sleep for the sleep cycle that is relevant to you, because everybody has their own sleeping cycle. There are people who sleep for 4 to 5 hours and they're fine. There are people who need 7 hours of sleep. So you need to find out what is your cycle and how can you maximize it. So when you sleep, the chemicals that are released are those that are going to help you to repair any cells that were damaged during the day. It will help to remove the debris or any byproducts. And so that's why most times you find when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you feel like going is to the loo, isn't it? So you're getting rid of all those things. Yes, so sleep does help you to do that. Yes. And that is what happens also when you rest and you take time. Yes. So I think we've answered all the questions. Papaya, should we give this back to you? I'm still waiting for childhood dreams.
You're waiting for? Yeah, you've not seen any.
I've not seen any childhood dreams. Okay, I can see our time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, our time is very, very gone, but let me just go through the chat. I see my friend Millie. Millie was here. I appreciate she had mentioned we cannot pour out from an empty cup. We can not pour out from an empty cup. That was her comment. Then there is well done. Thanks, Edith and Catherine. Very enlightening. Thanks, Catherine. That was insightful. I like the intentionally make time. That's again from Millie. Time management and strategic planning is key from Anne. Pinocchio does sleep that you've done. We need to always identify and deal with triggers. So ladies, I think we have just had an amazing time. I am so sorry we need to cut this off. We are past our time, the time we promised to finish. But I think this has been very, very, very helpful. I think what I also want to emphasize is you're not superwoman. So it's okay. It's okay when you can't do everything. Don't feel too terrible about it. We all have those moments when we can't do things, and it's okay to just let things be so that you are able to be healthy and whole. We need you healthy and whole. And you can only do that if you are healthy, if you're taking care of yourself. Pedicure, manicure is not necessarily self-care. Yeah, we need to take care of our mental health. I mean, if I'm not healthy mentally, emotionally, even if I do my pedicure, I make my hair, it doesn't quite go a long way. So those are some of the things that we have picked today. We have picked go beyond consuming. Yeah, so guys, we will stop being consumers and start being people who can also give out. Find an opportunity to give, however small. Make that your goal, that you're also going to just give. You're not only going to consume, you're going to be a source that others can also get from. And we've learned so many things. Guard your heart with all diligence. Your heart, yes. Take care of what goes on in there, because your heart is where everything happens. And if you let the wrong things in, then you're in trouble. And then, of course, the 10 tips we've been given by Catherine. We all need to go back and just listen and redo these tips. They are very simple but key. Apparently, no is a complete answer. You don't have to say no because apana. When you say no, the sentence is actually complete. So that's also something that we have learned. We've also learned to establish boundaries with people. I mean, identify who it is that is in your circles. If they're not healthy for you, just leave them out. You don't have to have them. And then, of course, read. Reading is therapeutic. Yeah. In today's world, you have Kindle. Even if you don't have books, you can read on your phone. And then establish a hobby. What's your hobby? Cooking, dancing, walking. Yeah, do that thing. The thing I also want to tell us is take time out for yourself. I can see we have Mombi here. We had Maggie. Yeah, the baby is all cute and nice and always wants time. But you still also need to sometimes take some time to be yourself so that you're a better mother. And so that you know, because if you just get stressed with everything, then you become a terrible mother. You transfer it to your baby. So take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. You see how Anne looks young because she takes good care of herself. This Anawari you're seeing, you saw she was eating avocado when we began. She takes good care of herself. So take good care of yourself so that you stay healthy, young, like Anne is young. You wouldn't know her age because she takes good care of herself. You didn't know how old Catherine is because she takes good care of herself. Edith as well. I'm here as well. We are all wonderful ladies taking care of ourselves. So I know I would want to keep this going on and on and on. I want to appreciate everybody who came. You know, Millie joined us. She's a friend I recently met. So she joined us from the US. So we thank her so much for having found time to actually join us. I am so excited she was able to join us. I also saw some people who had invited who have never come. I saw a cousin of mine. And so, yeah, today we reached many people and I thank God for that. So I think we can call it a day here and hope for the next one. I know you're all looking forward to the next one. Now we are looking forward to the next one. Yeah, so as we say bye, maybe again, let's unveil ourselves, our faces. As we say bye, let's see our faces as much as we can. There you go, beautiful. Yes, we have Tigress, we have Sophia, we have Hope. Let's see your face. We want to say bye to people. There you go. Hekima, Agnes, Hope. All right, let's wave to the guys at home. Bye. Yeah, let's wave, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we can be removed from live. Thanks.
Amen.